And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time, to talk about all things professional wrestling on the GSMC Sports Network. Just kind of reflect on what we talked about right quick. We talked about our WWE NXT Great American Bash Week 1. We also talked about our AEW Dynamite preview for tonight. So without further ado, let's go in and talk about this SummerSlam or All-In, AEW All-In. But before we do any of that, I want to remind you guys to use the tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. Shoot me your comments, questions, and concerns. Obviously, we get a number of questions from viewers like you that come in during the show to ensure that your question gets read on air in front of millions of people. I ask you guys to use the tips and donations link. Obviously, leave whatever you can. Anything you leave is greatly appreciated. More or less, just want to hear you guys' opinion about professional wrestling. Want to hear you guys talk about AEW Dynamite. Want to hear you guys talk about maybe some potential returns at WWE Summerslam. So feel free to hit up the link. Remember Superman Punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Also follow the network. Follow the GSMC Sports Network. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity, 1,010%. So, don't be afraid to be a part of this GSMC Sports bloodline. Take that plunge into a new world. The underground society of wrestling fans. Just kidding. No, just imagine that'd be kind of dope, to be honest. All right, so we have WWE SummerSlam, and we also have AEW All Elite. So here's the gist. Recently, I read on Twitter. I read also. I think it's been brought up in like wrestling news sites like Cage Side Seats, Ringside News, and PW Insider. So just because All in London, Wembley Stadium, they have a lot of seats. They have a lot more seats as opposed to WWE SummerSlam. So, they claim that AEW All In is going to be bigger than SummerSlam. And, it can be, but then again, like, it can't be. But then again, who cares? At the end of the day, who cares? If you get a really good, already 50,000 seats are going to be, tickets are sold from WWE SummerSlam. Obviously, when you are flying across the Atlantic Ocean, into the United Kingdom in London. People want to see wrestling shows. They don't get it a lot. So, and I'm not trying to compensate to be like, oh, AEW should be, not be taken so seriously because they got a bunch of, Englishmen from London to be like, oh, cool, we have wrestling, you know what I mean? So, might as well go to one thing better than nothing, you know what I mean? No, 1,010%. I like AEW. I think 1,010% that he's going to be great. I feel like the product's going to be amazing. Both of the SummerSlam and also AEW is going to be fantastic. 1,010%. So, I'm excited for both of these, but it's just kind of crazy how, you kind of have wrestling media kind of mention it up a little bit, kind of just throwing shade at each other, trying to start this East Coast, West Coast rivalry like Biggie Smalls and Tupac Shakur. I'm just kidding. No, nothing like that. But no, I don't know. I just, that's how it is in terms of professional wrestling. When you see a cross promotional wrestling, a war, it's it's a possibility. It's a possibility, 1,010%. So I got a chat right here from my man Logan McNelly saying hi man. Hope you all doing well. Hope you're having a great week. What do you think of Roman coming back? I hope he does. I think he does, but you're not going to see him step inside the ring. I guarantee you that. I still think, and this is my opinion, 1,010%. I still think Solo Sikoa really needs to establish himself as a singles wrestler before we get this match kind of going. The next pay-per-view we have is WWE Bash of Berlin, but I definitely think, for Roman to make an imprint on, or just hinting at him taking back his tribal chief role, he's gonna have to do something with this whole Solo Sikoa, dealio sooner rather than later. Maybe that's the reason why they were waiting. WWE has been waiting to pull the trigger on Jey Uso. Maybe this is the reason why Jimmy Uso has recently been medically cleared to compete. Possibly, we have a civil war. We have a civil war that's going to happen. I think maybe that'd be kind of heading more toward a Survivor Series in terms of like maybe like a Bloodline Civil War Games match would be absolutely electric. So definitely think that Roman Reigns is going to play a vital part in SummerSlam. if he doesn't show up, I think it's to the point where people are going to be so bummed right now because there's been so many speculations and fan rumors and conspiracy theories and stuff like that. So, would love for him to come back, but do I think he's coming back? No, not to compete right away. I can see him, kind of coming back into the scene, maybe a couple of backstage promos. Maybe he tries to fit back in with the new young bloodline, but then he ultimately gets sabotaged and excommunicated out of the group to the point where he's all alone and he has to find, someone to have his back. But, good luck trying to have someone who's going to have your back after what you've done to that WWE SmackDown roster. But then again, Roman Reigns is a free agent. He's not bound to SmackDown. He's not bound to Monday Night Raw. So, uh, and will the wise man come back? That would be pretty cool. That would be, that'd be 110% electric, and I'd be for it 1,010%. So getting into this WWE Summerslam AEW All-In debate. So just kind of looking at some of the matches we have for WWE SummerSlam. We have CM Punk against Drew McIntyre, the special guest referee. Obviously, you have Seth freaking Rollins. We have the undisputed WWE Championship match between Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa, which is going to be an amazing match. It's going to be electric. We have the World Heavyweight Championship. Will Damian Priest finally show the world why he deserves to be the World Heavyweight Champion against Gunther? And this is a big match. I feel like this is a huge match for Damian Priest. I feel like if this match ends with Gunther holding up the title, it might seem a little different. 1,010%. I think if you have Roman Reigns coming back, you also have to think about probably the king of WWE SummerSlam, Brock Lesnar. You always see Brock Lesnar having bangers at. This is kind of like his pay-per-view in a certain sense. He has had a lot of great matches at SummerSlam, Brock Lesnar, and like I don't know, because he's always so prominent inside the summer and like usually like around fall, winter, spring, he's doing stuff in terms of like you know trying to promote his brand and stuff like that. So it's I don't know, it'd be pretty cool to kind of see Gunther win the championship, and then out comes the beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. Then we have a WWE Championship match. We have Bayley taking on Nia Jax. And then, of course, you have Tiffany Stratton waiting in the wings to cash in her money in the bank. Will she cash it in on her friend Nia, or will Bayley retain and she'll cash it in on her? Should be pretty interesting. Next, we have the Women's World Championship match. Liv Morgan against Rhea Ripley for the custody of Dominic Mysterio. I'm just kidding. We also have a United States Championship match between Logan Paul and the LA Knight. We also have Braun Breaker taking on Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. Man, that just, that already kind of sounds like a full load. And it would, for any wrestling promotion, much like I always kind of reiterate, much like I always talk about in terms of wrestling, I think at this point, trying to compare yourself to the success that WWE has is, to be honest, like a little silly. I think at this point, you kind of just go out there and do like all you can, basically, everything in terms of trying to withstand, especially with, the juggernaut that is WWE. And it's something that really can't be compared to. WWE has been around for, forever. AEW is only like 5 years old, so kind of crazy. But and then so far what we have for AEW All-In, and by all means, this isn't an indictment on AEW because you still have a couple matches that are still going to be made. We're gonna have AEW World Women's Championship match, Mariah May and Timeless Tony Storm. We're going to have MJF taking on Daniel Garcia for the AEW American/International Championship. And then what else do we have? What else? Do we have the FTW Championship match? We're going to have Hook taking on Chris Jericho. That's going to be absolutely crazy. Like I said before, we have Jack Perry taking on, Darby Allin. There's no doubt in my mind you're going to see the Acclaimed finally cash in on their proving ground match to take down the Young Bucks of the Elite. You have the AEW World Heavyweight Champion Swerve Strickland taking on Bryan Danielson. So far, those are the matches that we have. We have we still have the AEW Continental Championship to be fought for. And I believe we still have the Patriarchy's going to defend their Trios Championship. And, maybe some Ring of Honor, New Japan Professional Wrestling. We had the CMLL. Like I said, I think Willow Nightingale will fight Chris Statlander. I don't know, just it's still up in the air right now. Obviously I only named like 4 or 5 matches, but it's gonna get bigger. It's just only gonna get bigger. This is the probably the biggest event in terms of AEW. This is kind of like their WrestleMania, I feel like. So, a lot of people could possibly be losing their matches. A lot of people could be losing their titles. Some, in terms of shock value, in terms of putting on pay-per-views, AEW has been dynamite. And I know that's a play on words, but I know they've been dynamite in terms of the ratings, in terms of pay-per-views and stuff like that. Better than WWE in my opinion. And that's obviously subjective. But I hate that WWE don't have all their titles defended. At the end of the month, instead, the night before SummerSlam, you have DIY taking on the Bloodline, which is kind of silly, kind of naive. But I guess that's I guess that's how they do it. So yeah. All right, guys. So we talked about some AEW Dynamite All In, and we talked about some WWE SummerSlam. So now we're going to move on to my most memorable SummerSlam moments. Can't wait to dig into that as soon as we come back. So, hey, stay tuned.